Section 8, how it presently reads is the pronoun, it defines gender. The pronoun he and its derivatives are used for any person, whether male or female. So now if you see, when we say, the change that we make is the pronoun he and its derivatives are used for any person, whether male, female or transgender. So over here, because again tomorrow these people, transgender persons, will have a problem approaching the courts because they are not even covered under gender or man woman, which is defined under section 10. Now if you turn your page, you will have section 10 also. So section 10 is just the definition of what man and woman is. So over here what we did, instead of adding man, woman and transgender, we added the third category as others, because we wanted to keep it open. Like we just told you that in other countries it's been said that there are approximately 63 kind of genders. It's not verified, but a lot of these reports say that the permutation combinations are such, there are 63 genders. So as a result, we didn't want to restrict ourselves by saying just transgender persons. So how the definition we wanted to read, we proposed it to read is, the word man denotes a male human being of any age, woman denotes a female human being of any age, and others denotes a human being including but not limited to a transgender of any age. So you're including transgender persons, but you're saying that even beyond transgender persons, if there's another entire category of people who want to identify as some other subgroup, they want to come forward, even they are covered. Because again, there is a difference between what you call your sex and your gender, which is one very important demarcation which a lot of us, we may just completely be oblivious to also. But these are two very different terms, they are not synonymous. So hence we said that it's better to just have man, woman and others, so that nobody tomorrow can say I am not included under IPC. Everybody can get relief under this law then. So in this bill, we just do not restrict ourselves to making rape laws gender neutral in the country, but we've also made all other sexual offences gender neutral. And we've also introduced what is called sexual assault, because presently you have sexual harassment in 354A, you have rape under 375 punishable from 376 to 376E, but there is a fine line between not being raped and not even just being merely sexually harassed, because sexual harassment does not include any kind of touching. It's all very verbal and it's by the way of non-communicative gestures. So to meet at the middle point, we introduced what is 375A, and that is sexual assault. So if you may please come to where you see 375A. So as the section does not exist, what we propose it to exist, you will see, because this is the one thing which is given entirely how it's going to read. It's not an amendment, it's a proper insertion. So whoever commits the following, one important thing while making it gender neutral was that everywhere where it said that there is man as the perpetrator and woman as the victim over here. So what we did, we made it whoever, any person. So tomorrow and we've already defined person previously, and even if we use the word he, it will appear in a few subclauses, but we've already defined that he and its derivatives, that's not restricted to just it being a male. So that is where you see the small things which you realize that interpretation of statutes is so important, because on a plain reading it may appear that you're only restricting yourself to male persons, but if you see the definitions under section 2, or if you see the interpretation in the General Clauses Act, there is always a definition for the word. And even if we may use the word he, that solely covers every gender within it. So, whoever commits the following acts shall constitute the offence of sexual assault, which is intentionally touches the genital, anus, breast of another person or makes the person touch the genital. Now you understand, previously we had manipulating, we had insertion of an object and mouth. But over here this is mere touching, and that is assault, because for assault you actually need to have touched the other person, and this is of sexual nature. So you're trying to break it down and keep it as simple as possible, so that for an act of molestation of this sort, for groping, presently it's not even sexual assault, and it's not even that intense that it can become rape. So to the middle way. Yes, please.
How different will it get from outraging the modesty?
So again, in outraging the modesty, nowhere does it say that that act or conduct has to be physical in nature.
But it's not explicitly excluding that.
That's the problem. Now we'll comparatively read this with 354. That's why I said I'll leave why modesty has been defined at the last. Because if you see 354, you have outraging the modesty. Then you have 354A, which is sexual assault. It connotes those 4 subpoints what constitutes sexual assault. Now sexual harassment. Sexual harassment at workplace has a different legislation in its own. Then you have, of course, your voyeurism, stalking. Again, none of them include any kind of physicality or any kind of physical touch that is required. The entire ambit of 354A to D. That is required over here. Now, on the other hand, if you read the definition of sexual assault, that is intentionally touches the genital, anus or breast of a person or makes a person touch so and so without the other person's consent, except where such touching is carried out for hygienic or medical purposes. So your medical examinations, they are left out of it. Uses words, acts or gestures towards a person that create an unwelcome, actionable threat of sexual nature or results in any unwelcome advance. So over here the advance becomes important, because you can't just, if you say that it's just a verbal threat, then that is wholly covered under sexual harassment. Because it has to, apart from there being an intent for you to see that somebody wants to do this, and of course till the time they don't carry it out in their conduct, till that time it is wholly covered under harassment. But the moment any action is taken on it, it becomes assault, and shall be punished with a rigorous imprisonment that may extend to 3 years. So it's not something which is going to be punished in a very gruesome manner, or of a very lengthy conviction in this, or with fine, or both. And then of course we've defined what consent means in this, what touching means, and that's all very basic for interpretation of statutes, so that tomorrow the courts don't have a problem applying it when a case comes, and you wholly cover that ambit.